Hi, this is Christopher Spera from itechgear.org, and I've got yet another awesome unboxing for you today. Today, we're going to go ahead and unbox the Samsung S24 Ultra. Now, we've done the Flip, we've done the Fold, and we've done a number of different phones around here. Samsung has some really decent hardware, all right? In comparison to other foldables that are out there, their foldables are definitely hard to beat. We've been looking at the OnePlus Open from OnePlus, the US subsidiary of Oppo, but that unboxing is pending, all right? Right now, we've been looking at a number of different phones, as I've said. The S Series phones have been a really interesting sort of phone when it comes to what the iPhone does, what the iPhone says, what the iPhone sort of looks like. Many people will tell you, and they're probably very, very right, that the S20X series looks a lot like the Apple iPhone. And they'd be right. There's no arguing. All right. The Ultra, the Ultra part of this series has always been just a little bit more. The S23, which has been a very, very important part of my kit over the last few years, has really, really been something that I'm very pleased to have had in my possession. This particular phone is really kind of cool. It is compared to the 15 series, which I'm going to now go ahead and uncase. You'll notice that it is noticeably a little taller, about the same width, all right, but noticeably square. There are definitely corners to the Ultimate series, all right, or the Ultra series. We're going to go ahead and look at the S24 Ultra, which, if you've been listening to the iTech Gear Weekly, during episode number 73 or 74, we talked a little bit about the S24 series, what Samsung had announced at their latest Unpacked. And while the S24 series is really good, all right, the only thing that was really there that's a bit of a change from the S23 to the S24, there are some slight changes in the camera array. And of course, you've got the updated processor, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 as opposed to a Gen 2 in the 23. But the big thing here is, of course, the AI. Now, I've not looked at this. I haven't touched it. It's been sitting here for a day or so. Let's go ahead, grab the old pocket knife from out the pocket, and give it a shot here, shall we? Let's take a look at this. Now, I will tell you that Samsung has got some really decent deals. The S24 Ultra, I believe, retails for somewhere in the neighborhood of around $1,400 to $1,500. All right. Samsung gives you quite the trade-in, and they always have. You trade in, one of their phones, one of their more recent phones, and they'll give you a decent discount. So looking at the S24 and seeing how much of a difference there kind of was, I thought, I'm really not going to go and look at this. I'm really not going to do this, but let's take a look and see what the trade-in values are. I ended up getting the S24 for under $400, all right, out of pocket. That is very difficult to pass up. They also tend to offer you some really decent credits for accessories and whatnot in their store while they go ahead and have you at the site specking out your device and then ordering. The problem with this is, and I totally blame Samsung for this, if the products if the accessories or whatnot that you're looking at are not in stock, they won't give you the item. As an example, if you want, and I'm just picking one of these at random, if you want the wallet style case, which is going to be very similar to this, all right, and it's out of stock, they won't let you back order it, which is problematic. I wanted, there were a couple of different things that I was looking at. One of them was an AirTag clone. Those were out of stock, and they wouldn't let me back order. I was also looking at a power bank and AC charger combo. Those were out of stock, and they wouldn't let me back order. So all I really came away with was the device and the similar case, and then a screen protector, which they give you anyway for free. The problem with this is that if you don't use those credits at the time of purchase, you're shit ass out of luck. You aren't going to get the device, or you aren't going to get those accessories or those extra things for free. This is wrong. Samsung, if you're listening, let me back order the accessories. Don't tell me I can't have them and that you're going to remove them from the order as you do currently. Put them on back order and then ship them to me later. It'll be okay. I won't be upset. I am upset that you wouldn't let me get the devices or the accessories that I was looking for, that I wanted to go along with my device. So, not so great on you. But let's look at what you did send. All right. So, here it is. Let's take a look and see what we have. Now, as I recall, and there are, they wrapped them up very nicely, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of the packing material. Get rid of the packing material, and we're going to put that just over here and get it out of the shot. And we're going to look at what they've given us. They've given us the S-View wallet case, which I think is going to be very similar, if not identical, to what we previously had. They've given us the anti-reflective screen protector, which will be nice to go ahead and go on the actual physical screen. And then, of course, the S24 Ultra. We're going to be actively comparing it to the S23, which I have here. I'm not going to turn either of them on while we're looking at these things, simply because we're going to talk about the hardware. We're going to look at the format. We're going to look and see what's in this little box, aside from what was in the actual shipping box. And that's going to be about it for today. But let's get into this, okay? So here, it's very similar to the iPhone 15 Pro Max box. Happen to have one here. All right. They are about the same size. They are exactly the same size, and they are sealed the exact same way on the back with those pull tabs. So let's take a look at those and get those off. All right. We'll open up the S24. Now, this year I went... last year I went with the matte black, which I think is fabulous. It does a very good job at hiding fingerprints, does a very good job of actually dealing with the slings and arrows of outrageous fingers and fortune. But this year, I decided, you know what? I went titanium on the 15 Pro Max. Let's go titanium on the 24. And you betcha, I did exactly that. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to take the device out, and we're going to put it aside for just a moment as we take a look at the everything else that's in the top part of the box and see what they've given us. I believe they gave us cables and such last year, but I don't know what they're going to give us this year. They did give us a cable, all right, and they gave us a SIM tool, all right. So inside the everything else, you'll see the SIM tool here, all right, as well as the quick start guide and terms and conditions booklet and a USB-C to USB-C cable, all right. So what's going to be interesting here is the S24 is, I guess, it got the updated internal hardware and camera stuff, but I'm wondering how the AI will, the new Samsung AI, which is a service that they are giving you now for free if you want it afterwards, after the first 2 years that you have your device. If you don't trade it in at a later date, if you go ahead and keep it, then you're going to likely, at least potentially, incur some level of charge for the AI service because it is free, according to Samsung, for up to the first 2 years of having the device. So I'll be looking. I'll be looking for some of that information in here to see what those terms and conditions might be. Um, when this posts, look down in the article on the site. When look down in the article on the site and see if there's any such information. We will go ahead and report on it as things go forward. But let's take a look at the actual device. All right, in comparison, um, if we look at the device, you've got, and I want to go ahead and just peel very carefully the screen, the travel screen protector. And man, that looks really sharp. I like that titanium uh, edge around the bezel of the device. It gives it a very defining look. It gives it a very sophisticated look. Not to say that it doesn't have that on the matte black S23, but the screen is a little bit different. Let me just go ahead and put this up, and we'll get to the actual screen here because I do believe that the shape of the screen is just somewhat fairly different and new. Whereas with the S23, the edges of the screen on the top are a bit rounded. All right. It does make it a little bit easier to hold. Not saying that the 24 is more difficult to hold, but there's definitely, when holding it, you can definitely feel with the titanium edge and case, you can definitely feel it's a little bit beveled, but there's definitely more of a squared off feel to this. All right, where with this on the display is somewhat beveled over. It's curved over. There's a definite difference. Now I don't know if that's just me, new hotness versus old and busted, but it does look a little bit different. And I'll let you take a look here and see if you can see any sort of. I mean, you can, as I try to do this backwards, um, you can see that there's somewhat of a difference as far as the devices themselves are concerned. The 23, believe it or not, is just a skosh. And when I say skosh, I mean just a taller than the S24. You can definitely see something there. All right. There. You can definitely see that there's a little bit of height on the black one as opposed to the silver one. All right. That I'm gonna chalk that up to case. The antenna bands are in roughly the same place. You can see them. Um, I'm putting them face to face, so they're going to be on opposite sides. But if I were to put them camera left to left, right to right, they're in about the same spot. You can see the bands there. All right, bands here. All right, and you can sort of see it on the S23. All right, and you'll see them on the sides here as well, at the top and at the bottom. All right, and then at the top and at the bottom on the side. The buttons look almost exactly the same. The speaker, there's a speaker on the bottom of this. I don't know if this is actually a speaker here or if this is an actual memory slot. On the S23, there's a grill on that opening. I don't know that you can see it. That might show you something. All right. Oh, I'm trying to get the glare just the right way so maybe you can see it. All right. But that's clearly open here on the S24. The styluses are in the same spot. The stylus for the S23 is more of a chiclet shape inside the case. All right. And it's definitely rounded. This is more squared. All right. So there's slight differences, and that's about it. SIM trays are in the exact same spot. The cameras and flash arrays are effectively the same. So depending on how things fit, I've got my S23 customized with a nice magnetic bar, or there you can see it pretty well, a MagSafe sort of ring on the back. I did have a few extra of these, but if I can't find it and the S24 fits in the S23 case, there's even less reason for me to have what I ordered in the S24 wallet case. So we'll have to wait and see. This is just, like I said, a skosh smaller than the S23. But this is Christopher Spera for itechgear.org, and this is the unboxing of the Samsung S24 Ultra.